surprised that you have come exactly on time. So that is something very good,
Yeah, I think you
especially.
you lived in Sudan, so you understand that punctuality isn't
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
norm.
But you are modern Sudan. You are the leader of Sudan in many ways.
Thank
At
you.
least you have shown Sudan that how you can take care of hungry lions, and who are people are not bothering about lions, and you have taken care of them. So people are not bothering. Sorry to say, not only in Sudan, in many countries,
Yes,
the leaders are not bothering about the hungry people, but you
exactly.
have bothered about the hungry lions, and that is a great achievement. We are so proud of you,
Thank
Osman.
you. Thank you
Mm.
very much.
Salam
Really,
alaikum and faddal.
alaikum assalam.
Ahlan,
Thank,
ahlan.
yes,
Yeah.
really, I think a very good way to start is to quote Gandhi.
Yes.
He said the very famous, saying that you judge, a nation by how they treat, their animals. So I
Yes.
think
Yes.
it was a very very important statement, and it goes together with what you were saying, that a lot of countries these days are neglecting their people, let alone their animals. The animals are very low on the
Agenda.
priority.
Yeah.
And really, I don't know. You want me to start by just giving some background about what we're doing, or how would you like to how
Yes.
would you like
Yes.
to start?
Yes. Lata Akka, Kalpana Akka has not joined us yet. No. Okay.
Good evening,
Yeah,
Anna.
I'm calling Anna. I'm calling Akka.
Yeah. 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 Yes. Just give us a few minutes.
Yeah, sure.
You see, Osman,
Mm,
all the children here,
mm,
they have seen your video. You know. Yeah. I mean, that video has become viral and truly and deserving that it has become viral. The Lion Man of Sudan. Yeah. And really, we are so impressed and so proud of you. And I showed your video to the children here. These are all today. I don't know. I think there are more students. Usually, there are students from 4 branches of
okay.
Parikrma School, 4 branches
Mm,
in Bangalore city, and they are from class 9, and
okay.
they are very bright, intelligent students.
Thank
And
you.
I engage them
Mm,
uh, regularly from 5 to 6. And
mm,
in the last few weeks, I have been talking about Sudan.
mm,
You see, my life in Sudan, because I have spent 15 years with my family, my wife, my daughter, my son. I mean, we have lived there, and it is so much close to my heart, Sudan, that
oh,
every day we remember Sudan, every day, our life in Sudan.
mm,
Because the best thing about our experience in Sudan is the people. The
mm,
people are so nice, so friendly. I
thank
give them an example that I can in any day go into the streets of Sudan and just hug someone, a stranger, a man, and he will be very happy.
you.
I
Yes.
will just say, Salam alaikum, keval hal tamam, hamdulillah, kef inta, shallah kois, Allah barik fik, Allah dikalafia, So,
Yes.
that kind of exchange of pleasantries is so
Yeah.
good. The people are so nice. And you
Mm,
are one of the nicest people in Sudan.
thank you very much.
Osman Saleh, the lion man of Sudan. Okay, so actually, we were waiting for
Uh,
the leadership
Anna,
team.
I think
Yeah,
Akka is on the way. Akka didn't pick the
okay.
call, but I sent a message. Once
Ah,
as soon as reach home, she will join Anna.
okay, but then,
Meanwhile, I'll introduce Prasanna. Prasanna will be here for this
okay,
week.
okay.
Prasanna, just say hi to Anna.
Where is Prasanna?
Prasanna.
Hi, Anna. Good
Yeah,
evening.
hi, Prasanna. Hi. See,
So,
Prasanna, yeah, we have Osman Saleh with us.
Yes,
Yeah,
Anna.
people in
I was
Sudan
here
all over.
yesterday also, Anna.
Oh, you are there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So, shall
Prasanna.
we will ask Osman, uh, like perhaps he wants to share a message with all the children here. So we will ask
Sure, Abhi.
Osman to tell us what he wants to share with us. All the
Okay.
children, listen.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So thank you really for inviting me on this, platform. We're really, outstanding and really taken aback by like the support we're getting globally for this campaign. This all started, last year on specifically the 18th of January. So I went with my son to one of the parks here in Sudan, in Khartoum 3. The park is called the Qurashi Park. And it was just by chance that, I took my son there. Someone told me that, they have some animals that you can, show your child, to just to have a look at. But, I had no idea it was there. I passed by the park almost every day. So I went in and I bought a ticket and as soon as I was getting close to the cages, I was very excited. We were going to see some lions because we don't have, zoos here in Sudan. So as I got close to the cages, I was really, really shook when I saw, this very strange creatures that were, huddled, on the floor. And extremely weak, extremely malnourished, and not looking like lions at all. They looked like just very scary, to be honest. It was a very horrific sight to see. Like a lion. This is supposed to be like the king of the jungle. A very mighty animal. As soon as you approach the cage, he's supposed to come at you and roar and shake you, but these were like completely defeated, and they looked as if they were going to to die at any moment. So I was really taken aback, and straight away I went and I spoke to the responsible people there. I said, what's happening, what's this situation, why are these animals in this situation? And just without any bothering, they said, oh, because we don't have any food to feed them, and so on. So I told them I can go get some food right now to feed these animals. They're going to die at any moment. And then I was shook when they told me, no, this is not possible. You can't just go and buy food. You need to get special permission from the park owner and from so. When I was trying, I made several offers for how I can contribute, how I can help, and everything was shut, in my face. And it was really very, very, very crazy. How can you have a problem and I want to fix it, and then you tell me that you don't want me to to fix it? Are you're happy for this to stay as it is, So I didn't take no for an answer straight away. I had taken already some videos and some photos, and I thought about just raising awareness by just posting them online. And within a matter of hours, just putting the photos online, my phone wouldn't stop ringing. My phone was just vibrating nonstop. There was, the post went viral, not just in Sudan, but globally. And started getting all these, being contacted by all these individuals that wanted to help. And later on in the same day, we got a call from the actual owner of the park. And, of course, he made, some excuses about how, the current state of the economy, and how he was even, paying out of his own pocket to try and, keep the animals, well fed and so on. But, everything was difficult against him. And he practically given up. So I told him, what can we do? We can't leave this situation as it is. And from then on, the situation picked up a lot of speed. Unfortunately, the next day, there was one of the lionesses that we were trying to to rehabilitate, passed away. But from then on, we got even the involvement of an international organization called Four Paws, who sent a team of experts. and they were able to give first aid and much needed medical attention to the lions. And we managed to revive them. And if you look at the video and like all the recent posts and everything on
Yes.
our page, you'll see that they've completely been transformed. And throughout the year, we managed to to raise some funds and build a purpose-built like rescue center. It's not a zoo, so it's a rescue center for the animals here here in Sudan. And it is just dedicated to just saving the animals in the wildlife in Sudan. So at the moment we have animals from this park, which are the lions and two hyenas, and some birds, some snakes, some turtles, and then we also found other private gardens in the country that also have lions and other animals in a similar state. So now we have around 14 lions. Even one of the lionesses gave birth on site. We have four hyenas. We have eagles, crested cranes, gazelles. So and every day we are getting more and more information about other animals in different parts of the country that need saving and need rehabilitation and so on. And the park is expanding, or the rescue center is expanding very quickly. And yeah, it's even though there was a lot of hardship, a lot of things that went against us, of course, with the whole pandemic and the COVID pressures. A lot of countries are suffering, and they're putting all their their energy, all their efforts to saving the human lives. And of course, these beautiful animals, they are not getting the attention they need. So like we have a very good team of volunteers and a lot of supporters that believe in what we're doing, and we're getting a lot of support. And even like speaking to yourself and your wonderful students, it's really, this gives us the motivation to carry on, to the fact that we have such a broad international audience, so many people interested in what we're doing and our success. So that's really the fuel that keeps us going.
Excellent, wonderful, brilliant. So now I'm sure that many of the students, they are all excited to talk to you, ask you questions. So who will start?
I will start, Tanna.
Yes, please. Deepika.
Hi, and I am Deepika.
Hi, Deepika.
So my question is, did you get any of the bad comment or any bad feedback that you were saving lions? Like, why are you saving lions? It is dangerous for us to defeat it.
Yeah, that's a very good question. So if you even go back and look at the early posts that we made on our page, we did get a lot of criticism. Of course, the internet it has a very broad audience. So you're always going to have critics, people who have negative feedback about what you're doing, and you're also going to get positive feedback. So the good thing with us is that most of the feedback was positive, but of course there were people that were saying, what are you doing? What is this a priority? Why are you saving lions? They're hungry people, starving. These are dangerous creatures. They should not even be, they should not even be here. In the country, they should be out in the wild. So we got a lot of negative feedback like that. But we were trying to educate the the audience as much as possible. Of course, the first thing you have to tell them is that this was an animal that was trapped against its will. Okay, it's not an animal that can just go into a supermarket or go somewhere and feed itself. It is completely dependent on the the owner to feed it. without
Really?
without that they cannot live. So so this is our responsibility. If you want to to take an animal from the wild and trap it, then it's your responsibility to make sure it's well fed, and and it's in a safe and and also big environment, so it can have a good life.
Very good. Very good. Excellent. Brilliant. So who's next?
Anna, I will ask.
Yeah. Fast. Yeah.
Hi, Anna, I am Sayyid Talha. My question to you is: you said that lions, Nona, with someone else came and told Anna, we will also save that lion.
I didn't understand, but I think you said that like any other animals we will save as well as lions.
No, no.
No,
I
I
am
think he's.
asking you.
Yeah. Ask.
Yes.
I am asking that you save the lions, Nona. Some anyone who came and you told, come with me, we will help you.
Yeah. So were there others who came to help you to save the lions?
Yeah, absolutely. So the very good thing is that we found that from our post that we found a lot of other young people in Sudan that love animals. We even got a lot of support from one of the dog animal lover groups. So there's there's all these groups for people that raise special breed dogs, and they get together to share information about breeding and competitions and food and all that. So that group was very, very active with us. They of course love animals. We also got a lot of vets and medical professionals who were interested to help us. So it was only through them, these volunteers that we managed to to help these lions. Because me personally, I don't have a background in veterinary or in wild animals or anything. I have an IT background. So this was all new to me. So I had to, seek the guidance and the assistance of experts, in this field, so it could go forward.
Very good. Yes. Any other questions?
I want to ask a question.
Yeah. Jayashree. Yeah, Jayashree.
What are your difficulties faced during
No,
while
but
rescue?
we can't see your face. You open the video. Jayashree.
Okay.
Yeah. Yes.
What are the difficulties faced while you're saving the lions, Anna?
Yeah, very, very good question. Yeah, so there is a lot of difficulties. I mentioned earlier the pressures from the COVID-19 pandemic. So early on, imagine this happened in January. Very soon after, in like February, March, there was a lockdown, that happened, in Khartoum, just like it happened in a lot of other international cities. So movement, initially was very restricted. And we had to, daily be at the park. We had to get special permission, to get food and drink and, medicines. So that was the initial difficulty. And then when we discovered that the park was not like a sustainable place, to have these animals stay at long term, we then started working on the new site, the rescue center, which is just outside of Khartoum. So it's like almost an hour away. So imagine that for about like 8 months, we are split. Our team is split in between two sites. So we're at one site, we're building, new enclosures and facilities for the rescue center. And at the same time, we are giving attention to the lions and the animals at the park. So we were really stretched. At the same time, the economy is doing very bad. There's massive inflation. Everything is very expensive. The country is even going through like a transitional period. We had a government that was overthrown. So really, the pressures in the country were massive. And then, like I think Sayed or the first question, we had like the same time critics, so people that were seeing all the the good that we were doing, and who were criticizing, and saying, that these efforts, all that we were doing, should be directed into something else. So these are really some of the difficulties, but we've overcome, and alhamdulillah, things right now are very positive, and people are coming. We have visitors; they're really appreciating all that we're doing. Even children, like yourselves, they're visiting. We've had a few schools volunteer and work with us, so it's really been a massive achievement.
Great.
Thank
Next.
you.
I have a question, Anna.
Yes.
I'm
Bhavya.
Bhavya here. I'm
Yeah,
Bhavya,
Bhavya.
Anna.
Hi,
Uh,
Bobby.
by the way, when they say Anna, that means brother, elder brother.
Okay.
So you will hear Anna, everyone addressing you as Anna.
Yes,
Yeah,
thank you.
yeah. Okay.
Can I continue, Anna?
Yes, please.
So I feel very curious looking at the Lion Man of Sudan, and I have a question for you. So saving those animals, was
Yeah.
it the love towards the animals, or the other side thinking about the environment or the wildlife or the food chain? What do you think so?
Yes, it's an excellent question. It's very hard really to answer that. I think first of all, my response was that to save like a helpless animal, so like just within me, just by instinct, I saw an animal that was hungry and malnourished and sick, and I quickly went to save that animal, and then later on, the love is definitely for wildlife and for environment, that also played a part. So it's all of that combined together. But like the initial response was first just to help like a helpless animal. Yeah. And I think all of you you have that instinct in you. If you see something that's not good, that's wrong, you have that move, that desire within you to make a change. So that's what kicked in, initially.
Very good.
Thank you.
Wonderful. Yeah, we can see the passion in you actually. Yeah, without passion you cannot do this. Yeah. And we talk of empathy, how you feel for others. Now here you felt for these hungry lions. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Who's next?
And I
Syed, you have asked.
one simple and a little question.
Yeah, okay, Syed. Yeah, Syed.
Anna, did you ever keep the names for the lions, Anna?
Yeah, so the names is a very good question. So we actually open it up to our fans, our supporters, to name the animals. So like the 3 cubs that were born at the center, we made like almost like a competition online for 2 female names and 1 name. So for example, like the male lion, we called it Leo. But for the other lions, a lot of them already had names. So those we kept the names. So but the most famous lioness we have is called Kandaka. So we named her Kandaka because historically, if you know a bit about Sudan and like the pharaonic history, Kandaka refers to like a warrior queen in our history. So we had very famous warrior queens that were very brave, very powerful, and they led armies, and they led nations. So that term was also linked with the women that took part in our revolution. So we had very brave women that took part in our revolution. They even sacrificed their lives. So they were called Kandakas. So it was very appropriate that just after the revolution, that we had this lioness. She came back almost from the dead. So we named her Kandaka, really for her strength and energy and so on. And she's the most famous one. A lot of people come now to the site and they ask, where's Kandaka? Which one is Kandaka? They want to take a picture with Kandaka. Yeah.
Oh, great.
Is not harmful.
Pawan, yes.
Doesn't it hurt anyone?
Sorry?
Doesn't she hurt anyone?
No, so we have a very safe like environment for them. So we have like enclosures that are built, to a world standard. So we have very high fences. We even have like an electrical fence within the fences. So like we don't let anyone get near the animals. Yeah. So alhamdulillah, there hasn't been any like incidents of any animals hurting anyone. And we want to make sure like safety really is a priority, because imagine you have 14 lions in one site. So safety has to be very, very important. So we made sure that everything is up to standard. And also, whenever we have visitors, they're all educated. So if you were to visit us, we would tell you, please keep a safe distance from the enclosure. Don't excite the lions. Don't make noise. Don't throw anything. Don't try to feed them. So I'm sure you've all visited probably some zoos and so on. So it's the same same instructions. These are wild animals at the end of the day. So you can really trigger them if you behave badly, and then you will get a negative reaction from them. So we have to make sure that everyone respects the rules. And also at the end of the day, these are like rehabilitated animals, so they're even still going through like a phase where they need to feel safe and secure, and we want to make sure that continues.
But Osman, I'm surprised. Let me just jump in with my question. I'm also excited to ask you that when you first met them, I mean, you are so courageous because they were hungry lions. They can be more ferocious. They can attack. But today I find that they are your best friends. How did this happen?
Yes, really. So I mean, they reached the stage where they were they've given up on life. So imagine they've come back almost from the dead. So we found that they're really very, very grateful to us, and they show a lot of love. Of course, we would love to be inside with them and to hold them and so on, but we still keep a safe distance between us and them. But certain times they come on their own to us, and they show us really their affection, their gratitude almost. So we really we're very touched by that, and we
but I have seen you playing with them.
Yeah, so we've even we've been playing with them and so on. Especially the cubs that have been growing up with us. They grow very fast. So really, we've been fortunate to be very close to them. But of course, as they grow bigger and stronger and so on, we try to to distance ourselves and just respect that these are wild animals, and they should not be pets. At the end of the day, these are some of the strongest animals in the animal kingdom, and we don't want to be too comfortable with them and have any unfortunate accidents or anything like that. Yeah.
True. Yes. Okay. So
what is the time they run, Navana?
So I think Lakshmi has a question. She's been putting her hand up for a while.
Yes.
My question is that what was your feeling when you first fed the lions, Anna? And also, is there any book written on this part of your life, like telling how you saved the lions, like that?
Yeah, so thank you for the question. Really, it's imagine all of this has been achieved in in a year, so we haven't really got around to the books and all that. Our story is still being written. So there's a lot of documentaries that you can find on our page that were done by different news agencies. So you can go and look for that. But really, like when we first fed the lions, it was really a very very touching thing. Of course, in the beginning, we couldn't just go and give them big chunks of meat and so on. So in the beginning, we had to get them minced meat. So, because imagine, they're still weak and they can't chew properly and so on. So we started with like minced meat, which we used to pack with, much needed nutrients and, medicines and so on. And we also, because you can't just give them what, imagine they weren't even given water. So we had to start with like IV fluids. So just like if you went to a doctor and you were very sick, they would give you like a drip, IV fluids. So we had to give administer that to the lions. So it started, step by step. It was like weeks before they could actually eat like meat with bones and so on. So it went state by state, but it was very very rewarding to see them every day eating more and more, and which was very good.
Osman, let me introduce you to Kalpana. She is the member of the leadership team of Parikrma Humanity Foundation. I would request Kalpana to say a few words and introduce Parikrma to you.
First, my apologies because the tuk-tuk, the auto that I was traveling in, it hit a guy on a two-wheeler. So there's a big ruckus, though there weren't, there were no injuries, but still everything came. But I had to wait till everything kind of settled down. So my apologies for coming in late. And I just can't tell you, Usman, what an honor it is. All right, I myself am a wildlife enthusiast, and I think I've been more enthusiastic about, I've been bugging Bhaskar saying, when is he going to come? When is he going to come? It's indeed a great honor for Parikrma. We are a charity organization, as Bhaskar would have told you, and we are all free schools. All right, for those who are who come from the economically challenged sections of society. So here you have a mix of children from grade 6, 7, 8, and 9 from 4 centers. Which is spread all across Bangalore, and we are about 18 years old now. This is our 18th year, and our first batch of students. We've got our doctors, our engineers, and we also have our very own wildlife enthusiasts, though no one has got into veterinary sciences yet. But we are great fans of nature, and we're great fans of conservationists. Thank you so much for being here today. And we're waiting, and I have a lot of questions of my own, but I'll wait for the children to finish so then I can start on my own.
Okay, yes, my pleasure.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yes, children.
Anna,
I have a question, Anna.
Who's this?
Jayanti.
Jayanti, yeah.
Anna, during the pandemic, we were all, as human, not allowed to speak to anybody, Anna. But were you attached with the lions, Anna? Connected with them, Anna?
Yeah, that's a good question. Yeah, so when say around March last year, like a lot of countries, they were panicking because of the pandemic, and a lot of places enforced the strict lockdown. But because we had we had to get special permission from like the Wildlife Authority, we were allowed to move around freely. So there was a lot of different checkpoints, and they would ask us, what are you doing, where are you going? And we would tell them we are going to feed these lions. And imagine like you heard about our story all the way in Bangalore in India. Even like locally in Sudan, the story became viral. So there was a lot of interest. So even today, if you say the Qurashi lions, everybody knows the story. So we used that to our advantage, and we didn't face too much difficulties moving around during the pandemic. Of course, we had to enforce strict guidelines for wearing masks and social distancing and so on. So we kept safe, and we were even disinfecting our hands all the time and making sure the food was clean, because even you've probably heard that animals can also contract the COVID the COVID virus. And
yes.
There's even some zoos in North America and so on that had, unfortunately, different animals that have died from COVID. So we had to, we had to be very strict with, with the hygiene and the health awareness.
True. Yes. Next.
I have a question, Anna.
Divya. Yeah, Divya.
So this is Divya Anna from Parikrma Humanity Foundation. So I have a question that how did you show your positivity towards people who try to put you down?
Yeah. So yeah, it's a good question. So like the best thing to do when you have someone who is, a critic and someone who's not believing in what you're doing is not to respond to them the same way, not to, to attack them the same way they attacked you and tell them, you don't know what you're talking about, you are, so and so. The best way is to, to show them with your actions, So we were, educating our audience and showing them that, the positivity of what we were doing, So we would tell them that, okay, yes, you're very right. Humans are suffering and so on. So, we have to acknowledge, where they're coming from, because like I told you, the economy is very bad, in Sudan. So there are people that are dying and people that, nobody is caring about. For those people to criticize us, it comes from, it comes from a justified position. But at the same time, we have to tell them that, we have to help these animals because they have nobody to help them. You at least can go out. You can even beg. That's the lowest, thing that you can do. You can beg. You can go on the street and beg. Of course, that's not something anybody wants to do. But you have a choice. You have free will. So we were telling people that, this is the current situation. And at the same time, we were also doing other activities, So there was even a flood that happened, around the rainy season. So we even stopped, or we didn't stop completely, but we, together with what we were doing, we used all our volunteers to actually, take food and medical assistance to, to families that were affected by the flood. So we were showing people that, okay, we are saving the animals, but also we are doing this humanitarian work alongside, because we found really an excellent team of volunteers and also like donors that were supporting us, and we had a lot of momentum, So we built like a name for ourselves. So it went hand in hand for us to to help human beings as well as these animals.
Thank you, Anna.
Yeah. Yes. Who's next?
I have another question, Anna.
Okay, Bhavya.
Okay. The first question which you answered was like technology, the internet helped you more.
Yeah.
So do you think apart from technology or internet, some other ways can be introduced to save those animals?
Yeah, so it's a very good question. Yeah, like I said, the post that went viral really it gave us a lot of outside, supporters and all these organizations that got in touch with us. But apart from the technology, just the word of mouth, really. So that also spreads, very quickly. So in Sudan as well, not everybody is connected to the internet. Not everybody has, smartphones and Wi-Fi and everything to follow our story. But they hear about us from word of mouth and people relaying the story. So really technology has helped us get our message across outside of Sudan, but within Sudan. Because we're very Mr. Bhaskar said, we're a very social, community. Yes. So we have large families, that live together in big, houses and compounds. And storytelling is a very well enjoyed part of our culture. So that helped as well, spread the message.
Thank you.
Great. Yeah. So, Usman, I just wanted to know this Qureshi Park. It belonged it was a personal property, isn't it?
Yeah, so it's a private. Yeah, it's a private.
Yeah. So now it has. So he has given it over to you in this rescue center.
So what? No, we've actually taken all the animals from the Qurashi Park. So right now, the park right now it has no animals. It's not,
Okay.
not operating as as a park, but it has other activities. So it has like like wedding halls. It has
Okay.
like,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
so that's
And
still continuing.
yeah, and you first named this organization who came forward for cause or
Yeah,
what?
of course, yeah, yeah. So that's
FORCAUSE.
yeah,
For cause.
FOUR and then PAWS.
Oh yes, 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 yes.
So that's
I know this person also. Yeah,
yes,
for cause. Yes, because he no, I mean it's a Sudanese organization, isn't it?
no, it's not. It's a European organization. Yeah, I think it's
Okay.
based in Vienna.
Okay, okay. So there was no Sudanese connection before for
No.
cause in Sudan.
No. So there's no.
Okay.
You're only dealing with the Wildlife Authority.
Okay, okay.
So they're because here in Sudan, if you own any wild animals, you
Yes.
have to have special permit by the Wildlife Authority. So we had to work with them, to get the animals from Qurashi Park, to our new center. So because you cannot just go take a lion from one place to another on your own. It has to be,
Yes,
be through
yes.
them.
So where
Because
is the new center, Osman?
Yeah, it's in a place called Al Bagir, which is on
Bagir.
Medani Road. So it's after,
Yes, yes,
so, yeah.
Yes, over. Yes, after that. Yeah.
So it's like around 45 minutes from the center of Khartoum.
No, I know Bagir. Yes. Okay.
So it's a very good location because it's of course greener. It's more it's more serene, more relaxed environment.
I know. Yeah. There were some Chinese farms there before.
A lot of farms, yeah. So imagine like Qurashi Park it's actually in a roundabout.
Yes,
So
I know.
traffic
Yeah.
For like animals and so on, it's better for them to be closer to nature.
Any day, absolutely. I fully agree with you. Yeah. Definitely. A great job you've done, Osman. It's a shame that I did not meet you when I was there. But of course, that time the lions were not so bad there.
Yeah.
But I remember having gone to the Qurashi Park,
Really?
Yeah, with my children when they were small. And yes, I mean, it was not very impressive.
No.
Yeah. Great. Any other questions, children? Then Kalpana has an array of questions for you.
Yeah. My first question to you, Usman, is, may I call you Usman? I don't know. Yeah. Right. So my first question is now, when when you go into the pen with the lions, right? Of course, you fed them. You might have even seen some of them as babies, brought them up, right? I don't know what the situation is. But is there no fear? Don't you feel any fear at all?
No, of course the fear is there, and we have to respect, that these are wild animals, and even, by their instincts and so on, they can forget who you are, what you've done to them, because at the end of the day, they have built-in instincts to survival and so on. So we have to respect that, and we do it keep a safe distance. So like the animals that you've seen, or the lions that you've seen us like interact with one-on-one, are the ones that we've raised from cubs. And the ones that let us get close, but like the bigger lions, and right now they're very big. They're very big. They're very strong. We actually don't go inside the enclosures with them. We keep very safe distance. We feed them from a safe distance. It's only if they need like medical attention and so on that we have like special what we call like night rooms that we put them in.
Yeah.
We can like administer any medicine and so on. But so far everything is very good. Everything is safe. Yeah.
That's one. Then how do you increase awareness amongst the children in Sudan?
Yes, it's very good.
Like life skills and all, everyone talks about, right? How to manage yourself, how to manage your lifestyle, but nobody ever talks about why you need to care for animals.
Yes.
Are you doing something with regard to that, Usman?
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's a very, very good question. We're working. The good thing is that as soon as like the center opened, we've had like around 3 or 4 schools that have straight away gotten in touch. So we've had other like educational professionals such as yourself see the opportunity for them to educate their students in our at our center. But at the same time we're printing a lot of useful material to hang up at the center. And also to provide to the schools. So we want it to be part of like curriculums that this is a very very important aspect to teach, because honestly it needs a lot of work, because like here in Sudan we have like a lot of children, they grow up with not enough respect, so they see a lot of these stray dogs and stray cats, and they're used to like throwing something at them or abusing them and so on. So that all needs to stop. And even on site, sometimes we do get some children that are a bit too excited and a bit behaving not appropriately. So we straight away, we don't tell them off, we don't shout at them. We straight away take them to the side. We tell them, do you know the full story about this lion? What they went through? Do you recognize that this was a bad thing? And then we speak to them about how they're behaving and how they need to change that. Because these are animals, they're living beings, and they deserve same respect, same love that you show a human. They also deserve the same. So education really is key, because like we want the next generations all to be consciously aware of all of this. And this is the new Sudan. So we like Mr. Baskar can tell you about the old regime we've had in the country with the tyrant, or the
right.
It was 30 years of abuse. So that is all changing now. So the new Sudan, post-revolution is all we're trying to bring a lot of positive things back, and we want wildlife and awareness for animals to be also top. We have, of course, a lot of other problems, civil wars and internal conflict, but we want this to be acknowledged as something to be recognized in the new Sudan.
Yeah, and also the lions were there before human beings, right?
Exactly. Yeah. So yeah, if you look back at history, all these animals, they are the original
inhabitants.
Inhabitants of this land, and we are the visitors. Not the other way around.
And the third question, if I may, children, if anybody else has got a question, please go ahead and ask, because I have lots. I want you all to also, I don't want to occupy all of your, all of Usman's attention. Who else wants to ask a question? Go ahead, and then I'll come back with my question. Anybody else? You don't want to ask?
I have a question, Akka.
Yeah, go ahead.
What are the weapons used to train the lions, Anna?
Wow. Yeah, so it's a good question. Okay, so we don't have any weapons because we're not training the lions, to do anything. This is a rescue center. It's not a zoo. It's not a circus. So we're not exhibiting these lions to jump through like fire hoops or to perform like any acts. These are animals that are purely at our center for spending the rest of their lives in a safe and caring environment with enough food and drink and so on. And they've been through a lot. So at the moment we don't have any like weapons on site. Of course we have like protective enclosures with an electrical fence and so on for the safety of our staff and our visitors, but we don't have a need for for any weapons to do anything else with. Yeah.
Thank you, Anna.
Have you had any instances of your lions escaping from the enclosures?
No. So thankfully, we were working with these international organizations to build these special enclosures. So yeah, we have a very very important like electrical fence within the outer fence. So very quickly, the lions, they know that this fence is their perimeter. So they, like the first time they will, they'll maybe touch the fence. They'll get a very small, like, pulse shock, and it will deter them, from approaching it again. So thankfully, we have had no incidents of any escape, and we would like to to maintain like 100% record, because in the past there have been like lion escapes from other parks, and because like even the authorities are not well equipped to handle these incidents, they just go and shoot the lions. So we don't want that to happen. We are also going to get like special tranquilizer guns and darts and so on. In case something like this happens, but for the time being, we are enforcing like all the safety precautions to make sure this doesn't happen. Yeah.
Right. Thank you, Usman. Okay, I still have more questions, but anyone else from the audience, students, do you have any questions?
Osman, in your video, I mean, you were so impressive, as if that whole video was directed by someone. Was it directed?
Yeah.
The expression you gave when you saw the males coming to help you.
That's frustration, expression of frustration.
No, and then excitement after.
Yes.
And let me tell you one thing, Osman. At the beginning, when you're entering, oh my, your gait, your personality, it came out as if you're a Hollywood actor, really. Yeah.
Honestly, the Nas Daily team, they're very professional. They actually scripted a lot of they interviewed me, and they got all the information that they wanted, and then they scripted the production, and we had like 2 days of filming, and it was very very intense, and we would take several takes for different different shots, and even my son was involved, and we wanted to recreate how everything started, and they did a very good job, really.
Yes.
This series that they have, these Outliners, it's a very good series. So even our video and other videos, they've even done a few videos for other standout people in India, which you've seen in their channel. So they do a very good job. There's one video I saw for someone who feeds like hundreds of birds. I forgot the exact story, but so they really find some standout stories to report on.
Yes. Good.
I have another question, Usman. Like, do you face a lot of opposition from your neighbors? Where your lions are housed?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So the very good thing is that like the location where we're at, it's actually like our family farm. So we sectioned off like a part of it, but our neighbors have been very cooperative, and we even have like a lot of herders. They have goats and sheep and so on. So they're actually cooperating with us when they have like any animal that sometimes dies out of just like natural causes or an accident and so on. They don't have any use for those animals, because in our religion and our culture, we cannot eat an animal that has just died. So these animals they would bring to us, to the center, and we use them, to feed our lions, of course, because we have a very big, demand, for meat. Imagine like the big lions, they eat like 5 kilos, 5 kilos a day of meat. We have to have, we have to have a big, reserve of meat. The neighbors, thankfully they're very, very good, with us, and they like, to see. And we also have a very good arrangement with them, is that we let them come and visit for free. So we, of course, right now we are selling tickets to visit. So it's around, almost like $3 for an adult ticket, and like maybe $1.50 for a child. But because this amount of money is very high for for the people in our area, in our community, we don't charge them. It's enough that they are welcoming us and making us part of their community. So we reserve special days for them to come with all their families to visit for free, and then we also educate them, and they even have some animals that are in their community. Yeah. So we've even like helped them to, like, because we have like some monkeys, wild monkeys that that destroy their crops.
Right.
So we've helped them to relocate the monkeys, and they have like foxes that attack their their goats and small animals. So we help them with that situation also. Yeah.
So Osman, the price for an adult ticket is 1,000 SDG.
Yes.
Okay, that's.
So what is the conversion like? How much is it in rupees, Indian rupees?
That's a tricky question.
So it's almost like the dollar is around like almost 380 Sudanese pounds to a dollar. So it's almost like $2 and a bit for an adult ticket. Like by international standards, it's not expensive, but by local standard, it's a bit pricey. It's a bit pricey, but of course we set this price for recouping some of the costs that we've incurred, and also because we have such a high costs of maintaining these animals and so on, and the people that are prepared to come 45 minutes from the center of Khartoum, they're usually driving and so on. They can easily afford this ticket. So it's not. We even have cases where people pay us much more than the actual entrance price because they want to contribute much more.
Correct. Yes.
It's very good. Yeah.
Yeah. Then one more question. Okay. Any more questions?
Yeah, I wanted to ask.
Go ahead, Manya.
Like we humans shout all our emotions, we express all our actions. How do you think those animals behave? Can you tell about that?
Yeah. So it, it's a good question. Like being very close to these animals, you would be very surprised to see how affectionate they are. You can imagine that like a lion is like a big cat. It's a big, like almost like a house cat. They the same way they purr, the same way they want to rub against you and so on. All of these behaviors are the same, and they express they express themselves in a very beautiful way. So we have like one of the enclosures, we have one mother, her name is Lima, who gave birth to 3 cubs, and the other lioness, Kandaka. So it's very beautiful to see the 2 lionesses, sharing like the parenthood, duty. So you have like almost 2 mothers, for 3 cubs, and the cubs, it's very beautiful for them to interact with their mother and the other lioness, and they're also very playful. Sometimes you'll see them that you think that they're a bit aggressive, but it's not aggression. Because what kind of animals they are. The mothers need to teach them a bit of like life skills. So they need to learn how to to fight almost, and wrestle and spin and so on. And they've got a very tough skin. So even if they get scratched or you see them hurt, it's still an important skill for them to learn, which will help them in their life.
Thank you so much.
Akka, I have a question.
Go ahead.
Anna, when you visit the lions, Anna?
Yeah. Sorry, what was the question?
Anna, when you visit the lions, Anna, on which day?
How often do you visit the lions?
Oh, yes, every day. So like for me and the rest of my team, this has become now like our life's work. So we like every other jobs that we had, it's like secondary. So every day we are on site. We are with the animals. So we don't even take a day off. It's become like a full-time job for us. Yeah.
Mm. The only thing is that when you go there, the connectivity is weak.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So we're working on that. We want to get like a signal booster to help us, to help us. And at the moment, we even have like Wi-Fi on site, because a lot of visitors that come, we encourage them to take photos and share on their like Facebook and Instagram and so on, just so we can like get more more attention for what we're doing.
Correct.
Yeah.
So Usman, do you have other wild lions also in the vicinity?
No. So in Khartoum, there's only our center, and there's one other like park that we visited. That's it. Even like a study has said that there's I think less than 200 lions, I think, in the whole of Sudan remaining. It's a very shocking number, but there's not that many lions remaining really in the country. That's why we need to save them, and we also have a very special subspecies in Sudan, which is different. Yeah. So in the site in our center, we even have like one species which is like native to Sudan, and we have other species that are like more from East Africa and like Ethiopia and so on. So they really needs to be a lot of protection to make sure that they don't die out.
Yeah.
Osman, I've been to Dinder. There was no lions in Dinder.
Yeah, so Dinder is like the biggest national park. Yeah. It's really huge. We also visited and we didn't find the lions. There are some lions there, but the problem in Dinder is that there's a lot of poaching that takes place, and also living in Sudan, you've probably seen like all these markoob, these shoes and all these things that are made. So that's really our next step. We want to stop this tradition of hunting wild cats and for making these things. And it's a big problem. There's a lot of poaching that happens in Dinder, and that's going to be like our next focus, to make sure that we protect whatever wildlife we have there. Because imagine, like, even historically in Sudan, we've had like rhinos, we've had the white rhinos and elephants and giraffes and so on, and there's no more. There's no more rhinos, there's no more elephants. So we need to make this awareness, and also try and reintroduce. So we want to see if we can cooperate with other like neighboring countries to reintroduce these animals back to Sudan, because I don't know if you've seen the rest of East Africa. They're very advanced when it comes to their national parks and animals they're protecting and so on. In Sudan, they have been neglected for so many years. Yeah, even like the original zoo that we had in Sudan back in the 80s and so on, that was at one point the biggest zoo in Africa. And it had so many animals, but they just went and they sold everything to all these international zoos, and there was nothing left.
So, do you have your favorites among your lions? And they all have different personalities, right?
Yeah. So really, like Kandaka is like the favorite for so many people. She's very famous even for dancing. So she does like a bit of a hop and swing, dance. And she was one of the first ones that that actually greeted us when we used to go to feed her. She as soon as she saw us coming, she would come up towards the cage and rub against, and she let us freely pet her and pat her and rub her and so on. So she's like a firm favorite. And then there's two. There's Moody and Nina. So these are two pups that I actually raised from like a few weeks old at home. and then we moved them to the site. So those, those are very special to me. But yeah, apart from that, yeah, the females are friendlier. The larger males, they're more, like dominant, and they want you to keep a distance from them.
But don't the males get into fight with each other over territory?
Yeah, they do. So we had to like rearrange, where each one is, because of the fighting and so on. So as part of their their hierarchy and their pride and community and so on, it's normal. But we don't want them to be fighting. So we make sure each one has their own like personal space and an enclosure, just so that we avoid these incidents. Yeah.
Okay. So I mean, you have all the males in a separate enclosure?
No, so
they're
they're
part of the same.
Yeah, they're split. So we have like one enclosure where there's two males that are brothers. They're okay with each other. There's Scar and Tayyib. And the next enclosure we have a lion called Mansour and a lioness called Burra. And then in the other enclosure we have like our newest residents, a lion called Leo and his partner called Leah. And then in the last enclosure we have the youngest, one of the youngest, the cubs, Moody, and then another newborn called Leo. So we spread them out. We don't keep them all in one place. And even also the females, you have to be very careful which two you keep together.
Right.
Because also there can be some rivalry between them, and they also have to fight to get the bigger male, the more dominant male. So there's also like some jealousy as well between.
So how do you choose the names?
Yeah, so a lot of them came. They had their names to start with, and then there's the newborns, the younger ones that we named. The Kandaka, that one, we named her the Kandaka because of like I was telling the rest of the guys, the Kandaka is like a famous term for like our warrior queens in Sudan. So this happened, after the revolution and so on, and a lot of like the female activists and so on were called Kandakas. It was a very like appropriate name to assign to her.
So Osman, when you're talking about names, I have a request, because these children have seen the kingdom of Kush and the great King Kashta. So your next lion cub should be named Kashta.
Okay, now
this is the King Kashta, great king in the kingdom of Kush.
Yes. That's good that they're studying really the kingdom of Kush. It's really like a very important part of history, which not a lot of people know about. The kingdom, it stretched from like East Africa all the way to like like now Palestine and so on. So it's a very big kingdom. One of the earliest civilizations.
Bhaskar did a session yesterday. Very fascinating. Walking through those corridors of time. Getting to know about this thing. So I have a request: when you have lots, and may your tribes of lions increase and increase and increase, one day you name one cub Parikrama, just for you. And we'll see how all of us, the children and adults, we can in our own way try to save a little money and do a little for that particular lion cub, so that it grows along with our children. Right? We don't have, but what we can do is with whatever little we have, we can still try and make a difference in someone's life. That's what we believe in.
Thank you very much.
Yeah. So, any more questions? My God, how many questions?
Yeah, 1 hour. He came exactly at 5.
Please, and our last question from my side. Osman, Anna, what is the feeling when you were named the Lion Man of Sudan?
Wow.
How do you feel?
Yes, honestly, it was a big honor. I still don't feel worthy of like such a title. It's very humbling, to be called like a Lion Man of Sudan. it's a very, it sounds like a very big, title, and makes me sound like, an aggressive person, like I fight with lions or something. But
no, you're lion-hearted. Lion-hearted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a huge responsibility.
Yes. So it carries with it, a lot of, responsibility. But yeah, it was really an honor to be called that, and I hope I can live up to the title. Yeah.
You will. You have, and you will.
Yeah. Great.
Yes. It takes a lot, right? It takes the heart of a lion to reach out to lions.
Yeah. There were 44 people listening to you in this. Yeah.
I hope you've done a recording of
Yes.
We have.
It's still being recorded. Yeah.
So we'll play it to the children who couldn't, attend.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we'll send Osman a recording.
Yes, we will. We'll share the recording, the link with you. You can definitely log in and see, Usman, what has been your interaction with Parikrma.
Very good.
Yeah. I think we are very fortunate. We are very blessed, Usman, to have you come and talk. And what I'm most, surprised and what I find is your humility, right? And I think it's such a great, a great asset to have, to know that you're doing so much, but also to realize that you're doing it for others and not for yourself. That, I think, it speaks volumes for the kind of work that you're doing. And it's so important for children, especially the children across everywhere, but especially for the children of Parikrma, to realize that it's not only human beings. You can also make a difference in the life of another animal. Yeah. So we have to coexistence. That's exactly what you're doing over there. Coexistence, learning how to, treat each other with respect, irrespective of the fact whether they're 2-footed or 4-footed. Right? It's all about life. Yeah.
And also, I just want to emphasize that, honestly, the team that we have, working with us here has been excellent. I know a lot of, the media and so on, they are concentrating, mainly on me as being the front runner. But honestly, the team behind me is what's driving this. So I couldn't have done any of this without
absolutely
support. So it's not by far, it's not like a one-man show. It's a team really. Yeah. So that's another thing to communicate to your students, that you can find the right team, right support to drive any cause, any positive thing forward.
Yes. So while there is a face, we never forget that there are hundreds of hands behind that, holding out, supporting, and helping us to reach out. Thank you so much, Usman, and for this wonderful session. And Bhaskar, blessings on you as well as Usman for making this happen. We're indeed very, very privileged, and we are so happy that, yes, Bhaskar must be feeling sad he left Sudan, but we are very happy to have him over here, because I think otherwise all these sessions on, the thrice a week, it would not have been possible. By the way, we call all these enrichment classes because they're enriching our lives.
Absolutely.
Right. So,
it's very good. Really, I'm very proud of what you're doing, and honestly, it's an honor again to speak to such wonderful students, and answering all these great questions. They're all very, very bright-minded, very, very, very intelligent students. Yeah.
Right. So thank you, Usman. All right.
Thank you.
And Bhaskar, any concluding words? We hope to see Usman again soon.
Yeah. No. See, I have never even met him. I just a request, and then he has, accepted our request, given his consent.
He's speaking like an old friend to all our
absolutely
children.
Because we have that Sudanese connection, I can hug him on the and Osman, wallahi shukran lek katir mas salama
everyone.
Shukran lek.
I look forward to speaking to you all again. Have a great time. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you, Anna.
Big round of applause for him and for Bhaskar Anna.
Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Good. No, I'm so happy that we could
Yeah,
make it. Yeah.
it was a very rewarding experience. So,
Yeah.
children, now, so Bhaskar, this Friday, the quiz will be on yesterday's Kush Kingdom
Yes,
as well
yes,
as the
yes.
Lion Man, Usman's interview, right?
Yes.
Okay, okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Right then.
Right,
Okay.
children.
Yeah.
Thank you. And
And
Bhaskar,
yeah.
thank you again. A big
No,
thank you.
not at all. My pleasure. I am really very happy that we could meet him. Yeah. I'm very happy. Thank you so much. Welcome. Bye,
Thank you,
bye.
Akka. Bye, Akka. Bye.
Thank
Okay.
you,
Bye,
Anna.
Bye,
bye,
children.
bye,
Bye.
bye,
See
bye.
you all tomorrow.
Thank you so much, Anna.
Thank you.